Hi there. In this video, you are going to learn about the displacement. So let's begin. Defining displacement. Displacement is defined as the straight line distance between 2 points along with the direction from starting point, which is our initial position, to the final point, which is our final position. Displacement is a vector quantity. It has both positive and negative values. So basically, since the displacement is a vector quantity, it can be both positive and negative. Its SI unit is meter and its dimensional formula is L. Now, in order to explain the displacement, what I'm going to do, I'm going to consider an example, and you see and experience that kind of example in your daily life. So basically, you are going to a college and suppose you walk along the hallway. So this is the hallway of a college. This is your locker where you put your stuff, and this is your physics lab. So basically, the locker is where you put your stuff and your next class period is physics because you are getting ready for your next class. So what will you do? You will walk along the hallway, and suppose if you put your stuff over here in the locker, so basically simply means that this is your starting point or your starting position, and then your destination is physics lab, and that will be your end position or end point. In addition to this, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a measuring tape and let the point where you started is x1 and the point you end your journey is x2, because x1 is your starting point where you put your stuff and x2 is your final destination where you're supposed to go for next class period. So basically, how much did you travel? You traveled from x1 to x2, and if I write a mathematical expression for that, I will write change in position is basically equal to x2 minus x1, because I started at x1 and I end at x2. Now, don't you think it will be more interesting if we put a measuring tape with numbers? So let's consider that. So basically, this is the measuring tape, and what I did this time, I considered the measuring tape with all these numbers on that, and suppose each interval is a meter. So basically, we are starting at 0 meter, 1, 2, 3 all the way to 11 meters. So when you started your journey or when you put your stuff in the locker, you started at 1 meter on the measuring tape, and when you get to your class, that was 11 meters. So can we find how much you travel from here to here? Answer is yes, why not? And if we do that, we will write change in position, which is delta x, is equal to your final position, which is 11 over here, minus you started at 1 meter mark, which is over here, and 11 meters minus 1 meter is basically 10 meter. As you can see, 11 minus 1 is a positive 10, so I have delta x is equal to positive 10 meter, and we can simply say that we move 10 meter along the positive x direction. Now the class is over and you want to get back to your locker so that you can put your stuff away. So you started here at the physics lab and you end up at the locker. So basically, now what's happening? You are going from 11 meter mark to 1 meter mark. So we will again write delta x is equal to final position, which is 1 meter mark, minus initial position, which is 11 meter mark. So 1 meter minus 11 meters is negative 10 meters. So we'll write delta x is equal to negative 10 meters. Basically, what we are doing, we are walking along the negative x direction, and that's why we have 10 meters in the negative x direction, because this direction was positive and we are going backwards, so this will be negative. So if you remember a statement that displacement can be positive as well as negative, you can see at one point the displacement is positive, which is 10 meter, and the next time the displacement is negative 10 meter, which is a negative number. And this is how we will describe displacement.